Is it?
Your portrait too.
It's showing your face now.
Refresh it. It should have changed.
Yeah, we've actually I've refreshed mine.
Mm.
Yeah.
Same here, even refreshed, been after being refreshed.
Has it changed?
Yeah. Okay, I think it's changing now. We can now see
Okay.
Mbola's head.
It's showing my head though. No.
It's showing your
Okay, I
head.
cannot see a screen. I can see your screen now.
I can see your screen now.
Okay, this showing my screen only.
Hey! Boy is echoing.
I can see your screen now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one is because the sound on the YouTube is on, so you might turn it off.
Okay.
If you turn the sound off, it's just to make sure we are capturing the right screen before we record. I've not used it that much, so that's why it's like hit and miss.
Okay.
It was echoing.
Is it still echoing?
Okay. Yeah, I can see your screen now.
Okay.
Though,
Let me make sure it's
though
still
it's
showing my
really
screen.
tiny. Yeah, though it's tiny.
Is it still showing my screen?
Yeah, it's still showing your screen, but it's tiny.
Okay. It should not be tiny anymore. Still tiny.
Let me refresh now. Yeah, it's better now,
No
but
sound.
it's tiny a bit. But if
Yeah, maybe when
It's
you're watching
okay
it
now.
in full screen. When you're
okay,
watching
It's
it in full
okay.
screen, it should be better.
okay. Oh yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. Even though your
All
beautiful
right.
face has disappeared.
Yeah. So we are
Ah,
recording now anyway, so you will hear your
how
voice
to
over
leave
and
me
over, but
alone?
that's fine.
Oh my god.
Okay, so where should we start from? The assignment. So let me go to the board. Um, so where are the stories? It looks like the bugs have been raised in the sprint, right? I saw some just now. I don't see them anymore.
Is he on too? Oh.
I was wondering where they were. I saw some no, not too long ago. Oh yeah, I think I saw them on the board.
What this TV is that? Nimbo.
You said
Is that your TV?
it's my video.
Yeah, so these are the ones I saw.
Which one?
I can only see these three bugs. I don't know if anyone raised anything that is not
Oh,
here.
what do you? I want us to show us how you get to that place.
So it depends on where you've raised the bug and where you've put it, right? So this one now is just under the board section, and like
Oh, that's
this
good.
management suite is usually set up in different ways. So an organization might even not have epics; they might have features, because it's not every part of the agile that everybody uses. It's usually tailored to the organization. But this bug that you're looking at is under the board. If you're looking at the board, I say, oh, and that's because that's where it's been put. Sometimes it might be under the backlog, and that's because we don't have test plan yet.
Okay.
But I think I created a test plan before. So the ones I created now, you probably won't see them
Yeah.
here. I think it was, so this is one of the ones I created. I think this one. I think I created this one.
Yeah, there is one in person.
Yeah, even though I can't see my name there, but I think I
Mm.
created this one.
No, let me see that one. So,
Form doesn't submit application.
is it not me?
Let me look at this one. This is one team five app. Oh,
It's me. That one is me. Though I was just gambling around anyway.
okay.
So nothing was there.
Mine wasn't raised. I did all the
Yeah, so this
steps,
one
but
is Abby.
Yeah, that
mhm.
So test case for credit. then 5. Let's see who's on this. So this is Kemi's. I can't see any for Sister Sophie.
Yeah, try and go on to
This
queries.
is what our phone doesn't submit application.
Queries.
Yeah, exactly. On the left, on your left, where your mouse is. What?
This is queries.
Okay. Which one again is that? Hmm, okay.
Are you sure you created
It's
some?
not here. It's on 20. Um, sir, try the query that is on the left hand side besides the blog.
So I'm
Okay.
not
But it
seeing
should
it.
be the same.
What do you mean? Where's?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You know what? I'm
you mean
gonna
yeah?
try from my own. Yes, yeah.
It is the same thing.
It's the same thing, isn't it? Okay, let me see if I can find it at mine, and then
Unless
I
if you put it in a different place.
yeah, that's why I was struggling. So probably I didn't use the right to do it, and then I I did write down some few steps, but for some reason I can't. Okay. Let me. Uh, can I share?
Yeah, you can.
I don't.
So your screen is going on and off.
Okay, is
Did
it?
you click on him?
No, I didn't leave the screen.
Okay.
Did you click on it? Bingo.
Oh, really? I'm just seeing your head now. Go.
Mm.
How can you didn't click on his own? That's why.
I guess now I
Sorry,
clicked now.
Sha.
I'm seeing your head.
But me, I can't see my own head. How
Okay,
you
I
see
can
it?
see. Okay, I can see screen now.
You wearing clicking on
Your head has disappeared.
your head will disappear. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
for some reason, query. Can you see it?
No, I'm not looking at your screen at the moment.
Oh,
Let me
sorry,
try and
sorry.
switch.
So actually, not sure. Okay, yeah, I did it at test case. All right, that's one.
All right. So yeah. So you did. Okay. So yeah, you created test case, not bugs, which is fine. I think part of the assignment too was also test cases.
So I was on a test case. Do I make this bigger? Can you see it?
I'm actually even going there now. I'm hoping I'll be able to see it.
Okay, if you're able to see it, tell me so I come off. You teach us
Yeah.
from your page.
Hold
So
on.
should I come off?
No, don't come off yet. I'm just trying to look for it.
Go downstairs.
If you feel it, I say the child want me for. I'm not gonna go have another appointment.
How do you find that?
She
Let me
doesn't,
look
does
at your
she?
screen
They
again.
just want my dear.
Maybe you should ask for a title. So what?
So I can see ID 24.
ID
On that
24.
screen
No.
too. Oh,
The
okay.
22 was the Sister Abby 22 Team 5 application form. No.
Yeah. Um,
Why did you get all this? Okay, test.
Yeah, I forgot to click on both. I was doing the test case. Because I thought it was a test case. You need to create a bug.
Wait, oh, me, I created my own test case in that place where you have bug.
Huh?
oh, so what were you creating? Okay, hold on. We'll go through them
Mm-hmm.
one at a time.
Only
So
one thing.
I know Sister Sophie's one are in there somewhere. I don't think I can dig them out unless I create a query. I'll create a quick one.
Okay. Can I share my own then? But it'll be
Uh,
better you doing it.
no, don't
Anyway,
worry.
carry on until
Yeah, I'll
you
look for it
find it
now.
anyway.
Uh,
Okay, me I go. I want to go and drop this boy, please.
Okay.
I'll be
Oh,
right
you're
back.
not missing any.
Um, field test
Am
case.
I done steps or results, something like that, and it came out
Um, trying to
on the
filter.
right hand side.
Yes, I can see. I can see it. So these are the two that you created. It's just where they are. There. They're just kind of like eating. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is one of them, right?
Hmm.
Okay. This one doesn't have steps. The
So
other one
I
does.
can't see what you're doing. Do I come off?
Yeah. If you just go to my screen, you'll see it.
Come off and go to your screen. Okay,
Yeah.
stop
Just click
sharing.
on my screen.
No,
You don't need to stop sharing.
just quit.
Uh, yeah. What is this? I need to raise it up a bit. I'll make it bigger.
Okay. So if we start from this one, so talk me through what's happening here.
So my first step was to go to the team5.net page,
Yeah.
and the expected result is the page we open. Okay,
Okay.
then my second, as soon as you open, my second thing is to log in, password, and my valid and data to use for password is that 24688team5, and then my username will be team5 at gd.net. And then my expected results step is clients logs in, so it could be customer logs in.
Okay.
Then my third step, when you log into this our team 5, the first thing you see is data strings that gives you format of date of birth.
Okay.
About three things in there. So I'm saying in regards to the homepage, if I'm raising a bug here, I will raise a bug to say it fails because the here is open issue homepage is expected to open with a welcome page. You just see the homepage of the website, but instead, this is what you see on the. I don't know if it's corrected now. On the homepage, you see some data string for date format with a
Okay.
name. I don't know if anyone has seen that. So for
Yeah.
me, I will raise it as a bug.
Okay.
So the fourth one then is when you now click on the next step I want the clients to do is to be able to click on application form. Expected result is the new application form comes out. Then the next stage is the person to start filling out the details. So what I did, the first detail is to put the first name is James, the last name is Brown. I can't see the bottom of this, our faces on it. Um,
Okay. That's it.
you
I've
are
moved up.
expected to allow. Okay, move on. So in my able to find looking for bugs, I said field 9 and field 8 and 9 to me is duplicated. Enter, can't see it properly. You either enter in years or in months you have been living in the residence. So for me, I will still raise that one as a. Oh, I didn't do the other one. Sorry. So when you data entry is allowed, sorry, the page step, is that step 6? Yeah, on
Yeah.
step 6, if a field is not entered, if you did not put any data in an empty field and try to go to the next one, this is the error message you get to say to fill, please fill out this field. though I did the field. That's a bug. I will. Actually, it's not a bug because it's passed. Sorry, this one is passed. It passed it, and then the next one will be on field 8 and 9, which I have already said. I think it's duplicated. It's either you put months as a field or you put how many years you've lived. I don't know in the at the resident. Then the next bug I was checking on is field number 10, credit limits. I don't know, but I think it's the company that gives customers credit limits per how much if after calculation, but that credit limit is empty. So to me, I will raise it as a bug in the sense that it's still fine to set credit limits for clients or for customers. So the next step, looking at the four on here. So, sir, can you move to your left? But
Yeah.
number 9.
Yeah, number
So
9.
number 9 is to click on the submit button. Because I filled them all up, and when I clicked on, I'm expected to the field to update and refresh for the next one, but it didn't do it. So I will still raise it as a bug. So that's what I did. Okay, now.
Okay. Yeah, so it looks like you. So this is a test case now. You've not raised the bug.
Yeah, I said I wanted to do it with the clicking of the bug section, but I didn't know how to do it. I only did the step test, but I didn't raise the bug.
Okay.
That was my question when I sent you
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
question
yeah,
in
yeah.
Slack. I don't know how to
Yeah,
do it,
yeah.
but
Okay,
I've done
that's
my
fine.
steps, but I don't
Yeah.
know how to raise the bug.
Okay, that's fine. We'll talk about that again today. So let's go to Chemizon.
Yeah.
Is she talking, Sister Kim? I can't hear you.
Oh, you didn't want me to talk. I thought it's going there.
Yeah, I'm
So,
going there. So
Oh, okay.
yours
Sorry.
is
okay.
yours
The
is this
test
one,
case
right?
for yeah.
Yeah.
In the first place, I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to write the test case.
You said?
I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to write the test case.
No, it's not.
Okay.
So we're all having software issues.
Yeah, because you can see here that you raised the bug. This is bug. So you raised the
Then
bug here.
up where you have system, where you have record steps, have you repro steps?
Yeah, that's the steps to reproduce the bug. So I'll cover that again now. Let's see
There,
what Abby did.
there I wrote my test case. Then it's not sure. I'm wondering why it's not showing.
No, I can't see any steps.
I
Okay,
did a
no.
lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay, I can see it now. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so this is your test case, not a bug. Okay. So when you say over the mouse to credit app functionality, what does that mean?
On the link on the form
Yeah,
on the link rather.
yeah,
After opening the link, there's a. I'm just trying to test everything on the
yeah. So this is the website.
on the website, the credit app.
Yeah, this is
When I
it,
when
right?
I clicked on it,
You said over.
oh I
You didn't say click.
yeah, I click my navigator over my
I
to the
don't
credit
understand.
app.
What does that C step mean?
It means trying to keep moving your mouse towards the credit app, or moving your mouse on the credit app, and then click on it.
Oh, Okay.
Maybe I should have used navigator instead of over.
Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need that line. You can just say click on.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to take that off.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go. Um. Okay. Okay. So go to the browser. And so when you say enter the link,
Yeah, I'm
is
supposed
that
to type the link into the.
no? So it's just a wording issue. So when you say enter the link, it doesn't necessarily. I don't really understand it. So are you saying like enter the address into the browser or
Yes, that's why I say go to the
enter the
browser.
web
When
address?
okay, maybe I should have
Yeah,
not
because
link.
link can be anything. You know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
maybe the right word should be
rather than using even link, don't use link at all. So use URL.
oh yeah.
So enter the URL into the browser. Yeah.
Everything was cut away.
You can still see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay. So for your test case, for example, your test case the title of your test case should tell you what you are testing, right? So here now, you just say test case for credit file form. No one really knows what that means,
Okay.
right? So for example, now if I go to let me see, if I go to the sample one that we did last week, let's quickly just go there.
So what is this? What television is that? I can't really. There's a background
What
noise.
did you say?
Sorry. I can't really hear you.
Oh, can you hear me
I
now?
think there's a background noise somewhere.
So can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there is a background noise.
Oh, I think it's gone now, right? Let
No,
me
it
see.
seems as if they are watching comedy on.
Oh,
Yeah,
football
like
or
comedy.
something. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Let me mute some. If it will work. It's gone now, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming from Sister Sophie. Okay, so what we're saying is the title of your test case should give someone an idea of what exactly are you testing.
I see.
So this test case title now, someone knows what I'm testing for. So if that test fails, we know what exactly is not working in the application. So yours is very generic. It's pretty much like everything, you know. But your test case
Yes.
should take a person's case, you know.
Okay.
So you understand what I mean? You are checking a particular scenario with an expected
Okay.
condition. So this is another one now, submitting the form under 18. So, but once we create a lot more, I think you get the whole gist much better.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you put a lot of details, and it's kind of like going a little bit over the top. So let me go back
Well,
here. No. I said the details is kind of like a little bit over the top. You know, when you are saying over the mouse to the credit app functionality, that is too
see.
Patrick Ogbongbongbe-ish. You know, just click on the menu or click on the logo,
Okay.
click on the
Oh, simple.
navigation link.
English
Okay.
professor.
Credit app functionality is ambiguous. That can be anything. You understand what I mean?
Okay, what would have been the right thing? Because I was just using functionality. So,
Okay. Yeah, don't worry. I'll write some now that kind of like covers this.
okay.
But let's just go to the end of it. Go to the no, okay. This also, there's no way you can ever click on the application. The whole thing is an application. So, you know, that's actually even a crime.
Because on that page, we have We
The
have
application menu,
we
you
have
mean the
credits.
link?
Okay, I would have said menu.
Yeah, or
Oh,
navigation or the button. Yeah,
Mm.
I see what you mean
oh,
now. I
oh.
understand what you mean now.
Instead of me writing function.
Yeah, yeah. Probably we should talk about what web elements are as well. Okay. Um, one website I'm just looking for. I have the link somewhere here.
I don't think Sister Sophie is there. She-
Have I muted that thing completely? Let me check again. No, I don't think she's there. Sister Sophie?
Wow. Yes, I am. You
Oh,
muted
she's
my
there.
thingy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's back now.
Okay, thank
I thought
you.
because I didn't see anyone on your screen that maybe you were not there.
Oh, no, I'm still here.
Okay.
Just decided not to show your face.
No. Oh, yeah, it's true. Okay, let's try this. I haven't even.
Bingo.
Ah.
Hey, I know because of your beautiful,
Yes. Okay.
Don't start now.
your beautiful. Let me
Don't
cover
start
my book.
now.
Okay, so where is Abby's on? The first one, right?
In fact, yeah, but my own save plenty.
How do
Like
you mean?
this one, there's nothing there.
Oh, there's nothing there.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I have another one. I think that one is 23. I don't even, I'm not sure.
23.
Yeah, I thought I saw one hanging about, knocking about
I
on
know why.
But
in
wait,
Sprint
so where
2.
did you see all those numbers that you were given?
Is that
Just that's what you just used to create your own, right?
Is it this one?
yes?
Yeah, good.
I don't know. I shall do so.
Okay, form doesn't have submit application. Yeah, so that title is, is okay for a bug. We know what the problem is. So after adding a new application to the current application, yeah, it does not show new application details. And clicked on the about, and the app is not functioning as it should. The contact on the app is not showing any details. The contacts, is that the page, right? Or the
Yeah,
contact page?
the contact menu.
Okay.
Yes, they've said yeah, it's not showing anything.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's fine. Um, the only thing that you can probably do is to break it down. So when you say form doesn't submit application, that doesn't have anything to do with the about page. That
Oh,
doesn't have anything to do with the contact page.
okay.
So you could have raised those as three bugs,
Oh,
because once someone wants to solve the problem, they
mhm.
solve one problem at a time. They
Oh,
wouldn't just
so,
just bundle everything together.
oh, I see.
And if two people want to solve this, because there are three problems now,
Yeah.
one person might not want to pick one and another person pick one. But since you've raised it on a bug, how do you share it, and how can we track what people are doing?
Oh,
Because if they want to assign this bug to you can't assign it to two people. You can
okay.
only assign it to one person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So let's talk about some um. So we do two things. We'll talk about some web elements, and I'll create some test cases, and I'll create some bugs. So let me not even use this application because you might still do some work on it. Let me see okay. Let's look at, so yeah, let's just quickly talk about elements a little bit. So like for web pages now, like the home page. Well, yeah, so there are different ways applications are described anyway, but all these are usually called menu. They are menu links, right? And sometimes you can call the whole thing a navigation bar, right? So you also have, let me look for a complete website. Let me go to sky.com. So this one at the top here, I don't know how can I describe this. There should be Google should have this call thing where you can actually. Anyway, where you can see my mouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything up here is like a navigation menu, like this: home, find and watch, shop, my sky, help and support. Those are all menu, right? So this one that comes down is a drop down menu. It's also a menu, but it's a drop down menu, right? So this is a search field, or search field, or if it's not for search, it's just a text field. On most pages you can have a footer like this, which is like the lower part of the page, and also on general pages. So let me go here. So you have like checkboxes. I'm sure you know what checkboxes are. So these ones are checkboxes. That's what they're called. There are also radio buttons as well. I don't know if they've got any here. But radio buttons are usually, so checkboxes are usually used to select various, like in checkboxes, you can select more than one. But when you have radio, it's usually for options. I'm trying to see if I can see one here, but I can't see any. But I'm sure you know what the radio button is. Basically, you just choose one out of the two. If I see it, I'll show you. And drop down, like we said. So this is a select or drop down select or drop down list, is when you have the select where you can select options. And let me see any other important one. So when you say over, so when you put your mouse just over it without clicking, that's what over means, right? So that's just moving your mouse over it, not doing anything. And yeah, I think that should be fine for now. So let's create some test cases. So normally, depending on what kind of system you're using, I think we'll probably still use something else, just to show you how different organizations use different tools, so that you can but the main thing there is, even if you've not used the tool before, it pretty much still kind of tries to follow the same thing. But under team services, which is also known as TFS, which is team services that we're using, your test cases are usually created under tests in the test section, right?
Okay.
So when you want to create your test cases, you come here to create them. So the only reason why you might not see some of the menu here, I'm sure when you get there, it wouldn't be squashed like this. But if I quickly just zoom out again, you'll see it. So you have dashboard, code, work, build and release, then test.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So when you're under
Okay.
test, then that's when you see all of this.
Okay.
So this is where you create your test cases, and you can manage your tests in the sprint and move them around. You can also have charts here. So the chart here now will show that, okay, we have two tests. One is passing, one is failing.
Okay.
And you can always use that as a report. So
you go to test for the test case.
yeah,
Click
so
on the
go
test.
to create your test case. So now, because we can also have a plan. So like, for example, now we've created this to be called sprint 1. So we can create another test plan here to be called sprint 2.
Okay.
Right? We can have another one called sprint 2, and we create it under sprint 2 here.
Okay.
And we create it. So that one will also come to the side. But sprint 2 is empty now. If we go back to sprint 1, it will have 2 test cases under it.
Okay.
So let me look. I'm trying to see what. I don't want to use our application now. Let me just try and think of
The Lloyd's one we wanted to do before.
okay, let's try the Lloyd's one. Well, yeah, the last one is also almost a replica of what we're doing anyway.
Oh, okay. So
You know what? Let me look for.
Try Argos.
Yeah, let's use Argos. Uh, yeah. So let's say, for example, now we want to search for So yeah, testing can sometimes be complex. So now search. If you want to search for anything, okay. So let's assume. Okay, let's write some test cases first, even before we.
Let's assume that the what do they call it? The projects are just started.
Yeah. So if the project has just started and
Just
you're
started.
anticipating what's going to be built, let's say you already have users. Let's assume we have user stories, right? So let's create a new test case here. So let's say let's call it search for products, right? And be a test case. So how do we search for products? We go. So we say we expect that we go to Argos website. Um, Website loads. Um, um,
Click.
so we want to say let's say type. There are different ways when you can have data criteria. Let's just use a product here. Type iron into search field. Um, Search field text. Text. Search. Search result is displayed. So for example now, Argos will probably has like we have like hundreds, if not thousands of products. And you're not going to search for all the products, right? It's not possible. But what you can do is have a subset of products. So for example, now Argos might actually have like maybe let's say 15 categories of products, right? So if you have that information and you can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know all the categories that Argos has products in, then you might choose to search for a product in different category.
Okay.
So what I will just show you here again now is that sometimes you can use a shared parameter set here. So instead of having iron here, you might have product. And you just look at what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm not sure if this is how it's even done here, but this is just to manage everything. So you can now create a shared parameter set. Don't worry if you, the whole idea is just for you to understand what it's all doing, not necessarily the where to create it or where not to create it, right? But just understand the idea behind it. Even me, I'm not sure I remember where you put everything here. Um, Let me see. The whole idea is to have this product list separated from the test kit itself. So, and then this is not where we create shared parameters. Okay, I think you create it. So under your products, what's it doing? You can now have a different list there. So yeah, so you can now have the categories that you'll be testing. So let's say, for example, we already know, yeah, this one, technology, home and garden, baby nursery. Where is it again? Yes, technology. Garden. Say baby.
Nursery.
So for each of those categories, you might just want to choose a subset, maybe just one, you know. So you might say this one, mobile phone, and say toys, or you can be specific about the toy, you know. And this is why testing is always based on how much time you have in the, let's say, what's home and garden.
Home and garden should be something like maybe dining set or something like
Yeah,
that.
and the
Baby nursery can just be maybe baby toys.
yeah, that's a baby toy. So the whole idea is to have this, slightly separate from where your tests are. Is there a save some? I think it should have been saved for DNN. Oh, okay. So is there a save anywhere that I'm missing? Can't see any.
I can't.
I can't see any.
Uh, you're expecting a different name somewhere. I think so. Oh, oops.
I think save is there. Up. Is that not save? Beside refresh.
Yeah, I thought I clicked on that. It's saying one
I
list
don't
should
think
not
that.
be empty. I think he's still expecting a name here. Oh yeah, I think maybe he's just expecting a name here. I don't know what he's doing now.
Okay. I think technology has disappeared.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be why he's now saving.
Okay.
Okay, I think it has saved now. Yeah, maybe that's. Technology was mobile phone, wasn't it?
It has even changed the.
Yeah,
Even thing has moved.
Yeah, they've all
yeah,
moved.
they've
The
all
first,
moved.
They've
Oh, is it?
first
Yeah,
color.
I'll put it again.
The rose.
Um,
home and garden.
Oh my God.
Then the last one should be baby toy. So dining set. Then mobile phone. Then the last one under baby and nursery.
Let's see the deleted.
can remove that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they moved them.
Sir,
Yeah.
before you say the
What has happened again?
yeah, that's what I was about saying.
That was what was it?
I think
So when you have technology, you still
not
have one to
tech.
four instead of
It's only the
mobile.
technology that should be mobile. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. Oh, it has changed again. It changed to 124.
Number.
Yeah.
Wait,
What is that field about? The field. Number.
Don't know
Oh.
what. I'll just leave it.
But there is something that test cases something off. I don't know what that means.
Let me look at it. Uh, Let me see. Where is he always hiding? I think it's yeah. Which one were you showing me?
There
On the
is
far right.
on the top
It's
right.
by the right here.
Yeah,
Far right.
Test cases pin up.
like that.
Yeah.
Pan up.
Okay, I
Ah.
think you should save now. Yeah,
Sugar the
I
same.
think that's saved now. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so the whole idea is to make sure that when we're actually now doing a search for products, we'll actually, so instead of iron here, I thought we didn't save this.
Product.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will look for, we will always be searching for each product
Okay.
in the test case. So we'll use this test case for all. So you can now like be ticking them off on that other list, not particularly there physically.
Okay.
The only other alternative, I mean, or option is actually like now putting them all in there, depending on how long your list is. So you can even have it external, rather than create everything. And if you now, like I said, it's always a race against time. So for example, now if you have time, you might actually like just copy and paste this for all those fields before you do your manual test. But if you don't have time, you might just create just this test case and use that test data to carry out your tests. Then if you now find bugs, then you raise those bugs against this test case. Does that make sense?
Can you say it again, please?
So you have one test case here, right?
Yeah.
With different products, with a product list of about, let's say, 20 products that you want to search.
Okay.
So it's either you duplicate this test case and have 20 test cases with all the products instead of inserting them here, which
Okay.
is a longer way, or you have just one test case like this, and you check for each of those lists using this test case because it's manual testing.
Okay.
Number one, you go to the website, you search for a product in technology. You go to the website, you search for products in home and gardens.
Okay.
So if you now find a bug, you raise it against this test case.
Okay.
So in a way, this test case has failed, but not for all scenarios.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But but when you are now creating your bug, you will write all the steps like this. So, okay, let's say for example, when we searched for, okay, let's add something not nice to our list, something that is not available in Argos. What's not available?
Baby Mickey Mouse computer.
What?
Baby Mickey Mouse laptop.
They
Are you
might
sure it
have,
doesn't
you never
exist?
know. It might
Not there.
exist. Oh, okay.
That's under technology.
Yeah.
It's under, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, the way this list is, I think so this top one should be the what's it called? It's the
Then the
header.
second one.
So this should be category, and this should be item. Right. So this is technology and
Mobile phone.
Mickey Mouse.
mobile. If we want to use Mickey Mouse,
No, say mobile phone was
let's say very complicated technology, technophone,
That's it.
right? So let's say we've done all our tests. test. We've done all our tests, and Technophone was not found, or it wasn't coming up. So now we need to raise a bug. There are usually a lot of ways you can raise bugs. So normally, if that test case was, it doesn't have parameters, and it's all in one, you can flag it as a failed test here straight away, right? But because we have a lot of parameters there, we might not want to do it like that. We might just want to raise a bug straight away. Maybe we've not even finished testing it anyway, so you can't really say it has all failed. But sometimes you might just say it has failed and you create the bug. There's no hard and fast way to do it. There's no way that you do it that someone would say like, no, you have failed. The test case has failed. So it just depends on reporting and how you want to manage it, or how the organization choose to report their bugs. Some are, like I said, the old traditional organizations are always bug raising people. So they say, how many bugs have you raised? You want to raise one just to make them happy. But so let's say, for example, now we've seen a bug that we want to raise here. So I think in Test Manager is where you can raise bug directly from the directly from from your test case. Let me see what this is saying. Yeah. Okay, let's go to our work item. So you can always create a bug here, right? So we're under test, but we can go under work to create a bug. Are you still with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go to creating a bug now, and we say search functionality, and say broken, it's fine. And say not working. It's just for someone to be able to understand what exactly is going on. So to the reproducible steps now. So you kind of go through the same process as your test case. So you say go to august.com, search for Technophone, and you can now say your expectation. Technophone appears in search list. And your actual Technophone is not on the list. So your system info might just be Windows 10 Chrome version 60 and Firefox. That's usually what goes under info. And your comment might be this was working on Friday when version 2.5 was released.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In that system info, so what will you enter there is a browser?
What would?
The browser name.
Come again.
In the system info.
Information, yes.
Yeah. So what should be entered there is the browser.
Information about the system that you tested your application in.
Okay.
Your laptop. Maybe it's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Use the
maybe
Mac
it's cool.
and say it's Mac OS.
Oh, okay.
Safari. Yeah, that's an example. If that's what you tested it on.
Yeah.
Or if it's on Argos, it might be
Cool.
Okay, I'll raise another bug now, just to give us a variety of options. So that one has been raised. Let's say another one. Search for product doesn't work on iPhone. So your steps will be
Go to August.
on iPhone 6s. Open Safari browser. Go to argos.com. Search for
Techno.
this form can be anything. So search for
Techno.
Techno. The page to say expected. The page should load with Techno items in the list. Sure is the page keeps loading and nothing shows. So system info, so system info can now be even, you can repeat it, but even though you've mentioned it up there, but sometimes depending on how deep your test is, you might say, okay, Safari version.
It's not coming out. I don't know. Is it only me?
What?
Is it
What's not
coming
coming?
out? I've only seen the page should load with tech. That's the only thing I see.
It's coming
Can't
now.
see. Ah, okay.
The page should load with Techno item on the list.
Yeah.
Then the page keeps loading and nothing shows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So for iPhone, you might say iOS 10. So that's another bug.
So if you don't want to check for the bug on this search product, how do we get it?
Come again.
If you want to search for the bugs now that you've raised,
Yeah. So I'll do a link now. For example, you know the ID for this test case is 28, right?
yeah, yeah.
So if you want to look
Yeah.
for the bugs should be in the, most of the time I think it should be in the backlog if you've not actually allocated it to a sprint. But I think for this one, I think I've set it up differently. So they might actually just go to the board or to the sprint. So I think we'll find all of them here.
It's on the board.
Where on the board?
Yeah. So they are all here. Because like I said, the first stage of a what's it called? Of a bug is new. But you can set it up differently. So that's the way I've set it. I didn't spend too much time when I was setting this up. But you can set it up so that all your new bugs go to the backlog. And even when you are creating them, you can create them. So let me try and create another one. So if I go, so here now you can always create a new bug. That one will come in straight away.
No, you click on it, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
done.
yeah. So it just wants the title here.
So who assigns this unassigned? Do we
Yeah, it's always unassigned in the first stage of the
okay
life
the first
cycle.
page? Yeah, okay.
So image too large on mobile. So if we open this, you can see this one is under sprint one. You can keep it under the whole. So this usually is how deep in the whole application you want the bug to be. So this one is creating it in sprint 1, sprint 2. But like I said, different team manages things differently. So for some, they might say they want the bugs to not be put in the sprints because they want to manage what the developers are working on. So they want it outside the sprint. But that's fine. That's a team discussion. There's no hard and fast rule to it. But I'll just create another one now. So let's say so go and on Android, let me say on Samsung S, go to address and home page. So expected home page image to fit on the actual image doesn't precise the screen. So this can be Android Marshmallow 7.2 and that's sometimes you don't need too much, but like I said, it always depends on how much testing to details that you are doing. So for example, if you already know, like, okay, the app you are testing, it needs to be tested on 5 devices, then you need to mention which one of the device that you've tested. And if it's just all of them, then you can mention all the 5 here. You don't need to like raise the same bugs for different devices. And this one can go there. So all the new bugs just go in. They don't go in the sprint. They go in there. So like if someone is working on this now, let's say if Abby is working on this. What's Abby's name? GID. So I've assigned this one to Abby to fix now. And once Abby has started working on it, it goes into active. That means Abby is working on it. And you can always assign it to yourself, even though developers are the ones that will be assigning because they are the ones that will be fixing it anyway. So testers doesn't really have anything to do with assigning. So, but whenever they've fixed it and they want it tested, so like I said, also you can have more than this number of columns. So you might have another one called test. I can add that to it. It depends on how the organization chooses to work. But there's no one single. It's not like a yes or no thing. So yeah, so those are more examples of bugs and test cases. So the AI now, just looking at the title without opening it, you know what the problem is to an extent. It's specific. And if you go on the test plans as well, if you look at the test cases, you know what this should do.
Okay, so the test case helps you to know what the bug you're looking for.
Yeah. Let you know what the scenario that you're testing.
Also, when you are testing, the whole website will not be ready. It might not be ready for you to start. So it should be in small chunks. You deal with maybe the product, whatever for this sprint, and then the next one could be something else.
Yeah, it depends on how they are building it. Yeah, because there's no different companies do it in different ways. So, for example, now your company might outsource the development to a team in India. They've built it, they brought it in, they want it to be tested. That happens because they believe it's cheaper. So now you'll be testing it, even though it's not been developed.
Testing
But they
everything.
want their own people to now fine tune it and do some minor fixes.
Okay.
The company might decide to start it from the scratch and build it, write user stories, define everything, do it in-house. You know.
Mm.
And your company might even buy something off the shelf. There are a lot of off the shelf products, and they now want to tweak it to meet what they want.
Mm.
Yeah.
So now in that case, now in the case where the whole website has been built, like the one you gave us, the
Credit,
one we asked to just.
Which one?
credit,
So
credit app.
the credit
Yeah, that one has
fine.
not all been built. It's not
Okay,
completed
let's say
because I'm the one doing it.
for instance, it
Yeah,
has been all built.
yeah.
So as a tester, if we want to test, we start with like we have to be specific about the one we are testing.
On.
Writing the test case, we have to be specific on the one we are testing on, and then we move to another one and be specific on it. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure what you're asking. Say
She's
that again.
trying to ask if we are like on the menu, as you said, you have the bar menu.
Yeah, on the menu.
Pick each menu. Okay, like okay, we are testing on. Are we now? Are we
Credit app.
testing, yeah? Are we testing on the contact? Are we testing on the telephone, email?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You mean like if your company just brought the application in for testing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it usually depends on how much testing they want to do and what the application kind of does. So most of the time, because testing is a risk business. You want something to be live, but you want to make sure it's fit for use. It's friendly, it's usable. So for example, now if they say Argos website now that we only have a week to test it,
Mm.
we might just look for okay. We might decide like our team manager or test manager might come up with a test plan that okay, what we are going to do is we are going to test the you might say we are going to test the user journeys that are critical. So they will group the application into different parts. So they will say so we want to test some critical parts, which is like making sure a customer can add the products to the cart, making sure a customer can check out, making sure that you, you can pay online, making
Okay.
sure that you can search for products. So
Or reserve
they might say
product.
priority one is to be able to pay online. That's priority one. So number one, you want to test that when you use a credit card on the page, it goes through. So that might be the first thing that will need to be tested. Then two, making sure items can be added to carts. So those two can even go together because there's no point in paying when you can add to carts. So you might have add to cart first, then paying second. Then third might be searching. Then fourth might now be returning goods online,
Or
and
receiving.
maybe getting online receipts might be another one. So they can group it like that. So you start from the top. So
Mm.
for example, now if you want to now doing in tests around writing test cases around what's it called checkout, we can write a test case like say customer can pay with Visa card. So that's a test case, you know.
Okay.
Because that's a case, Abby can pick that one and start working on it straight away. You can have another one for another card. Customer can use can
Add
not
product
use
to the
phasing
cart.
and add
Can add
products to
Cart.
cart.
to the chat.
Yeah. So you can even say customer can remove items from cart.
Understand.
So you have all those cases, and you go after them. if they say, okay, no, we won't have time to test on mobile because 80% of our customers are using desktop. So let's focus on desktop first before we test mobile because of time. So you can add another one. So we've already done search. So you can add another one about which one did we mention again?
Be able to use the.
Come again.
I thought you were saying to be able to use desktop.
Yeah, so we can say desktop itself should probably have functionality. But let's put so let's say book item returns online. So that can be another one. So customer email notification when card is about to expire. That can be another one. You can have a lot of different cases like that. So, and this one now, so you have given so in your user story, if you have, but in this case now you won't have user stories, you're just creating test case. So so this one might be a tricky one. So for example, because you will have a test environment, so you say okay. Yeah, this one might be how do I, okay, let me this might be a complex one, but let me just show you. So let's say create a user in system user report. Let me finish it first. And let users add X to run email process. Email. So normally all of these steps, they're not just what you will be able to do, from the website directly. But as a tester, you will have access to the backend where you can create these scenarios. So for example, maybe all you just need to do is, one way or the other, there will be a way how they create users and create email. It might be something that you just do the same way we've updated database with, names and emails and stuff like that. So it might just be that you go into the fields, into the database, put this date there, put this date there, and you click run somewhere. Then an email should pop up in the email that you've put there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. So, but the beauty of it is that because you work in the organization, you have access to to the
To the
engine
person.
of the system. So you can create this scenario without actually like going to the same user, I mean, websites that users will go to, because they won't be able to do this. But you'll be able to create a user there, set the expiration of their card till tomorrow. Then you can run the process that sends email to people that their email account is or card is about to expire, and you expect that user to get email. So if you did all of this and that email didn't come across, then you need to raise a
Oh,
with this same step.
okay.
Yeah.
So if you pass a project to life and it has bug, what happens?
Well,
You'll be paid.
no. So it depends on what it is, but most of the time, yeah, that happens
Yeah.
when there's an application in production and a bug has been found. Then, depending on the risk, it needs to be fixed ASAP.
Become.
Depending on what the risk is, it happens a lot. For example, it's happened before. I'm sure there was one with, was it
Sucks.
NatWest or one bank where people's ATM money was just withdrawing. It was in the UK now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Their
I
money
think I
was
heard about
just
that story.
people's money was just
I
coming
just
out of
withdrawing
their
money.
ATM and stuff like that. But quickly they had to like ring all the developers to do overnight shifts, and we're all there till morning,
To
trying to
sort.
find out what the problem was and deploying until everything was fixed.
Just like Samsung.
Yeah, there was one too with Sky where for some customers Game of Thrones was not loading for the first 5 minutes on Now TV. You know, and something had to be done. Yeah, so yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, another question.
Yeah,
Like sometimes you call Sky and you want to fix something on your maybe on your box or
yeah,
something, and then they tell you to go to your laptop, tell you what to do.
yeah.
Who does that? Is it the developer or the tester?
Who does what?
Sometimes they tell you what to do.
Yeah, you mean who is on the
Like
phone
when
talking
a
to you?
customer, yeah, yeah,
Customer service.
No, it's just customer service. It's not developer.
no, he's not.
They're probably reading it from some instruction that they've been told to.
Hmm.
Customer service. It's just like the related example. It's like this YouTube we're using.
Hmm.
When we try to fix it, it asks us to go back, check it, refresh the page. We do something like that.
Yeah,
Sir, is it compulsory that we must pass comments
and
Mhm.
um, on each text, right?
they must pass comments.
Yeah, there is always a line under it that says comments. Is it
Not
compulsory?
necessarily. No,
Oh, that's good.
no, not necessarily.
Okay. Then I have is it a question or a request? I don't even know.
Yeah, carry on.
This site you're working on,
Yeah,
possible for us when you're done. I mean the church website.
yeah.
Is it possible for us to use it as one of our projects?
Project.
Uh, I don't see why not, to be honest.
Hmm?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, that's cool.
Mm. I
Sorry,
can
what was the
actually
question again?
the church website. I think I can actually
Oh,
just I can deploy a copy somewhere, and you will just have a different link, but it will still be the same thing.
Oh,
And that one you can mess it with it as much as possible. I think I'll do that.
maybe when let's finish with all this. That's just the future request, not
No,
present.
no, yeah, because I want you to even have like different applications to work with.
Okay,
Yeah. So yeah, I'll that was actually my plan.
oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll push it somewhere online.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Even though
And we have access
there
to
is
the
not a
traffic.
lot of functionality there. So
okay,
yeah, I mean like when I say functionality, I just mean like core business logic. But at least you understand how the whole system kind of works. So you understand the admin side of things,
Yeah,
how you can
admin.
log in as an admin, how you can create a user. So like so it will make that Argos explanation easier.
Like the
So you can
backend.
see like when you can create a user at the back end,
Mm.
and you understand that you can have a front end as well. So sometimes like when you're actually like on the phone with Vodafone and they and you're telling them like customer service, they log in as admin and they can see, oh, I can see that you are logged in. You know, you access your accounts. There. This is how much you have left. This is this. This is that. It's because there's another part of that system that you cannot see, but they
Mm.
can see it and they can tell you what's going on.
Okay.
The reason
Mm.
why you have 50 pounds balance on your account was because last month you did not pay this month. You can see the whole true picture. So, and as a tester as well, when you are testing, you'll be able to see, okay, the reason why you didn't get an email was because your card has expired on this date, this date. So renew it and blah blah blah. So yeah, it just kind of works hand in hand.
So, in order to raise a bug,
Yeah.
you go to all the steps you have in a test case. Each test case, you try to raise a bug, or you have pre-known already which ones that have bugs
No.
when
So
you're
a
raising a
test
bug.
case is a case. A test case tries to find out something. A test case tries to check for one thing, right? So that's the one important thing. A test case should test for one thing. And
Should
once that
test for
one
one
thing
thing.
fails, once that one thing
Mm.
fails, then you raise a bug
It's
for
a
that one thing.
mm. When
So
your
in that one
actual
thing, you can have steps, but the goal is always one thing.
One thing you mean, example, we're testing credit app, or one thing we are testing is filling
So
in
for
a new
example,
to submit an application, for
exactly.
example.
Submit an application can be one thing. So if you have an application like, okay, as a user, you want to submit an application, that's one thing. So if you're saying you want to submit an application with date of birth, so that's another. That's specific. So it changes the focus away from the submission. It says it's submission in conjunction with the date of birth. So if you say I want to submit a form on mobile, so that's a different test case. Does that make sense now?
Okay.
mm.
Yeah, but you can have steps, to achieve that goal. You can
The
have multiple
submission.
steps. Like, so for example, now you want to submit the form, but before you submit the form, you need to, step one, go to the page. Step two,
Mm,
fill in the details. Step three,
mm,
click the button. So if the go
okay.
to the page fails, well, the test case has failed, even though you've not gotten to the action itself, but a
Mm-hmm.
step has failed in that test case.
Okay.
But once you have achieved all the steps and all the steps has passed, then you can say, okay, all this, that test case has passed fully.
Mm.
Yeah. I think the more you look at scenarios and examples, so if you go through these examples and you try to create more, then you understand it more better. They're usually like edge cases and some scenarios that might be slightly different, but you just get the hang of it. Mm. So I think you should still create more test cases and bugs. I want this place filled.
Mm.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily need to be our application only, But I think what we'll do is I'll probably give you some scenarios. This one wouldn't be a website per se, or I might look for maybe some websites or a mixture of the two. and I'll send it to you so that you can create test cases from them. You can't really create bugs from them anyway. But
Okay.
I want you to create test cases for those scenarios. So I
Okay.
might just describe an application. I can't think of one right now.
You will
Yeah.
find it. Don't worry.
Yeah. So that one will be for test cases, and for bugs.
Mm.
You can use Nando's.
Yeah. I think Nando's should. Use Nando's. Do you
That's
all
what you're
use
Don't
thinking
worry.
about.
Nando's?
Don't worry, sir. Just think of the
No,
scenarios
no,
you
I
want
can
us
think
to.
of Nando's now. Do you all use Nando's?
That's what Bimbo is thinking about. That she's
Yeah,
successful.
because Nando's they have this app that that when you go to Nando's and you buy something more than £10, then you get 3 points. Then if you've gone there 3 times, you get 10 points. Then after 10 points, you can get half a chicken, something like that.
Hmm. Jesus is Lord.
Ah, okay.
You don't all know it.
Really?
Why do you all?
No.
What's my business then?
You don't know
Ah,
it.
I know.
no.
I go there once in a while. But it's not, I don't even know.
I
Ah,
know. They have point card.
yeah,
I
Ah,
just do a
really?
regular festival.
yeah. If you know points system, yeah. Let me see.
Even
You might even find the test case for it.
Like some stores too have this
Subway.
matcha more.
Subway too does. They have it as well.
Yeah, Nando's
Ah,
point rewards.
these ladies, they eat out. Yeah, ba, ba, ba.
You know, I like going out a lot. So most times I'm always on the run.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
The day
Nando's
you will
have this
blow up, eh?
point returns. Yeah, so this is it. Yeah, so you can write test cases against this. I'll put the link in Slack. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think for each visit you get the 3 chilies. How does it even work? I can't remember. Well, anyway, 3 chilies is a green reward, which is equivalent to a quarter chicken.
That's a chicken.
6 chilies is orange reward. I think for each visit you get a chili.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for each visit you get a chili.
Mm.
Kind of.
Yeah. So for example now, if you've been 4 times and you okay, you've been 4 times. On the fifth time, you now used your 3 chili points. You want to make sure that okay, the number of points you have after that visit is valid. So after spending your 3 chilies, you shouldn't still have more chilies in.
One or
And
two.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think this is a good one. If you can write some cases around this, that would be nice. So that's the one. I'll think of some more.
How are
Yeah.
we gonna know if it's passed? Okay, sorry, test
No, no,
cases you
no.
want
This
us
is
to
just
write.
test
Sorry.
cases. Yeah,
Okay,
It will
okay.
just test
definitely
cases.
pass.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. For the what's it called?
Church.
For the bugs, I'll look
So
for
we need to repeat the assignment or that's it? We move on to these ones now.
We must complete it now. Abba.
You correct.
Yeah, well, you don't really need to. If you create this, it's still like the assignment. It will be something you'll be doing for a good number of times anyway. So
Yeah, yeah.
you can write test cases based on these Nandes for a start. I might add to it as we go along,
Okay.
depending on when our next lesson will be. But start with the Nandes one. Test cases. For bugs,
Okay.
I'll probably look for something uh, with more bugs that we can work on. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for now.
Wow.
So yeah, I think Nando's should be an interesting one.
So,
And with the number of test cases that we have, we can know how many
We are dancing because we are so
butter
much
chicken that
familiar
we will
with it.
get. Any more questions before we round up?
No question from me. Bimbo, I have a question for you. Can we have Nando's tonight?
No wahala. Why you know Sabi drive? Let's go. You know I'm always ready.
Me too, I'm ready. Why are you
But I'm
singing?
thinking of it.
Me for
Don't worry, sir. Once we pass,
Finally last.
we are all going for to pour champagne. Going for it.
Yeah, I said
The
it too.
Lord is
Yeah,
your
waiting
help,
for.
so the Lord is your strength. Definitely.
Yeah, so
By
any
God's
questions?
grace.
No question so me. The only question I would have loved to ask, I think I will ask.
Uh, you don't have the question, or you have it? You are postponing
I
it.
don't have.
Oh, okay.
It's not really a question,
It's not a question.
but I'm just trying to think around. Okay, an application
Yeah.
that's maybe after completion, it has maybe they've sent it out, blah 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 like that. As a tester, do we still have access to the back end, maybe just to go and do one or two things after,
So what do you mean they've sent it out?
maybe
Yes.
after a product has go live?
Okay. I think you should start using production terminologies now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That do you still have access? Probably
Yeah.
still would. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't
I
think
think you
you.
can still, sometimes you can still run a query on some.
Yeah, but well, yeah. I don't know why you want to do that when you are already working.
What if they ask you to do something on it?
Well, yeah. Then that you are still working then. Because like we
I
said,
feel
going live is not just usually just like a one-off thing. It's an ongoing thing. Because you
yeah.
You still had more features.
like if you are doing agile, you probably go live every 2 weeks, if not less. Some go live every day.
Mm.
Like with sky.com now, we probably pushed some things to live today.
Mm.
So like the church website now, there was a time I was pushing things live every day. So yeah, you might have like okay, for example, you're seeing my screen. The mobile shop might not be there like 2 days ago, a few months ago when Sky didn't have Sky Mobile. You wouldn't see the mobile there.
Mm.
But now that they have mobile, then you'll be seeing Sky Mobile. You'll be seeing this screen. But before it wasn't there. This soundbox is a new thing, even though the image is not loading. How come the image is not loading?
How's it going? You didn't test it.
Yeah, it's probably just low. Yeah, so this box is just new. Seems like it's breaking,
Uh-oh.
right?
Yes. You're breaking.
Yeah.
I thought maybe my laptop was hot, maybe because of it. So see me raising it up. I'm just trying to lift it.
Yeah, so yeah. After we've gone live, things still go on.
Okay.
Well, sir, let me ask maybe one question pertaining to when you're talking about the going
Where's the one
live.
coming from?
Oh gosh.
Ooh, that's not good.
Is
I'll stop the
everyone?
recording now.